According to the Petroleum Inspector's website,
in keeping with its desire to promote literacy,
there are 11 candidates trying for the force.
From the top, great to have you on board, Cayman Black Little Cayman. Worldwide, if you're listening to us by way of the internet, we are grateful to have you on board.
When most people think of Radio Cayman, they typically picture the on-air personalities. But there's much, much more behind the scenes at one of the first stations on the island.
We have a staff of 24, and everyone does something that makes the radio station operate. We could not operate without everyone.
I'm the Sales and Promotions Manager and also the Acting Deputy Director.
I'm the Broadcast Engineer at Radio Cayman.
And I'm the News Director.
We have our news section, we have our sales and advertising, and we also have our library traffic officers, accounts officers, clerical officers. Radio Cayman has been here since 1976.
I've been at Radio Cayman since the 29th of September 1980, and I've been an announcer, or DJ as they call it nowadays. I've also been a news editor. I've been the producer of many programs. I've gone through the ranks.
We are government, but we're also partly commercial. So the sales staff go out, sell commercials.
International Lighting and Design Big Parking Lot Sale this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday.
Being the oldest radio station doesn't necessarily always give you the cutting edge on advertising. So you always have to constantly reinvent yourself and also promote yourself.
Everybody knows this is the place for variety galore.
Live programming starts from 6 in the morning. We go through until midnight. And then from midnight until 6 a.m. we have the BBC broadcast. Our programs during the day, we have our talk show.
Good afternoon and welcome. It's a wonderful Wednesday.
We have music programs which run mostly all day. This is on Radio Cayman 1 because, as you know, we have two stations, Radio Cayman 1 and Breeze FM.
Certain radio stations, yes, they do deal with certain demographics, certain types of music. And radio is sometimes repetitive, where you get top 10 hits during the course of the day. We do a bit of that here, but we try to get into a more broader aspect because there is so much music out there in the world and we want our listeners to hear this.
Swing it back to the year 1982. That's Kashif. That was a hot dance track back in the nightclubs. Welcome inside hour number 2 of RC Fusion right here on Radio Cayman 89.9.
The newsroom's a lot of fun, actually. I really enjoy my job. The old joke is I've got a face for radio. But my father had done radio, and it had been news radio as well. I remember the stories of me sitting on his lap and him telling me all these stories about him and doing the things that he did. As a joke, one of his fellow newscasters lit his news copy on fire. I said, well, what did you do, Dad? And he goes, well, I read faster. When I first got here in 1997, I felt a little bit of that kind of, wow, you're a government department, and you're not supposed to say anything bad about the government. But that quickly went by the wayside. Within a few years, there was one incident I can remember back, and that was probably about 98, where they asked us not to do a story, and we had a kind of a boycott of the news on that time. And since then, the government has never bothered us about any story we put, as long as we're fair and accurate.
Radio is very mobile. That's one of the things I like about radio. We can just hit the air, as you know. And if you're driving, you can listen to your radio. If you're at work, you can listen to your radio. You know, you don't have to lug a big television screen with you. You just tune in. We've just upgraded from analog to digital. People can hear the difference in sound because it sounds much clearer, much more crisp. We have redone our studios, installed some new soundproofing boards. We have an additional production studio. We received our new van, we put it in commission about 2-3 months ago.
This van is very nice. It lets us do outside broadcasts. If we had another Hurricane Ivan, we lost our tower. It sends our signal to the northward where our transmitters are. And with this, we could, basically replace the entire building where our studios are with this. Plus, it makes setup for outside broadcasts much easier and quicker, and it gives us a better signal back to the station as well.
We view ourselves as a community station, and we cover a lot of national events. Not only do we cover elections, but we cover from January, we cover the National Heroes Day celebrations. We cover the Remembrance Day celebrations in November, the Queen's Birthday Parade. We also cover that live.
I have to say, any election is always an exciting time here in the newsroom, and especially now as we're coming up towards the eve of an election within 2 months. But I have to say the Hurricanes is the most memorable times that I'm on the air. Ivan was one of the worst experiences and best experiences because it brought out the best of us here in the station. It made us all sharper, all more acutely aware of who's listening and what we need to get out and what kind of information we need to give to the public. And it was heart-wrenching at times not being able to talk to the people and listen to the people during the major part of the storm, to know what was going on the island, but then to know we were there afterward.
Radio is now, radio is happening, it's always on here 24/7.
Radio Cayman continues to expand its broadcasting horizons. The station plans to offer new programming in the months to come, focusing on health and business-related matters.